Next, she will discuss the Sukkah project, Dwell in Design, a design competition in which local and national architects and artists submit their most creative and exciting Sukkah projects.
Thank you so much. I've never done a PechaKucha. I've never been to one, so this is pretty cool. So hopefully I'll be good. Okay, so the Sukkah, what is a Sukkah? If for those who don't know, it's a Sukkot is a Jewish holiday that happens during September, October, our marathon of holidays. But basically, we are commemorating the time when the Jews left Egypt after being slaves, and built structures. And this is very fast. There are some that we live in for 7 days. So there's some laws on how you build a sukkah and what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be 2.5 walls, and it's supposed to be a certain height, and then it's supposed to be finished off by that's called schach, the little leaves on top. So in 2010 is the first time I ever saw a competition for a Sukkah project or a Sukkah city in New York, and it was awesome. You guys should look it up, Sukkah City. It happened like they built all these. Designers built and design and build sukkahs on Union Square. So we decided to bring it to Dallas. So I didn't. I was asked to be part of the architectural committee, the people who brought it to Dallas. We called it the Sukkah Project, and it was basically an innovative design competition where we asked architects, designers, artists, whoever, to design and ultimately will be built the Sukkah project. Oh my God, the text is gone. So we invited four. Greg Ibanez and Max Levy are shown here. They're one of my 2 jurors. Also, Enrique Norten and Gary Cunningham were my 4 jurors. And so basically, the designers were selected. 10 of them were selected. There were like 35 that entered. So that was pretty exciting. We didn't realize it was going to be so many. We thought we could have more, but so they were in the Biblical Arts Museum in Dallas, across from North Park Mall. I don't know if you're familiar. The 10 finalists were built. So what I'm showing you now is I'm showing you their entry and what got built. And that's my daughter, by the way, and her friend. So they're my role models. So this one, it was pretty cool because they weren't all following the exact guidelines. This one's called the earthen vessels, where you would walk in and you would see, like, instead of having the leaves on top as a roof, they decided to put the leaves hanging from the ceiling. So that was kind of a different view of what a sukkah would be. So they all had pretty much the kind of the walls that this one, for example, didn't have technical walls. It was all curved, but it was really amazing how their design really got built nicely. I mean, the execution was very impressive. And some of them were like, well, how are they going to do that? we like it, but and then the jurors liked it, but they didn't really know how it was going to be done. But they did. This one was really cool. The wheat sukkah, the walls were really made out of wheat. And this is Mayor Rollins sitting inside or standing inside the finished product. He's a mayor from Dallas, if you're not sure who that is. But again, this one didn't have the roof on top, which is what makes it a kosher sukkah. But and this one the whole roof became the walls. So the whole leaves that you would put on top would be and this one, the execution wasn't as nice as the drawings, but it still worked. I mean, it was really pretty cool the way they did it. This picture was taken on a clear day. It was really rainy on the day we had it, and it was really muddy and all. You see that there's no clouds in the sky. This one was the pillar of cloud in the sukkah. This one was almost like a traditional sukkah where you have the leaves on top, or the roof that you can see the stars. That's kind of one of the requirements, that you sit inside and you can see the stars. And this one had the walls, you had a little bench that you could kind of lay on, and it was called the modern sukkah. So it was like, and then the walls were movable. People that were visiting had never seen architectural structures before, and they were like moving the walls around. It was pretty cool. This one, it was a fling. I'm not sure if the drawings seem to be much better executed than the real thing, but they did a good job. So, but it wasn't quite what we were thinking. But it was actually. So what I was saying about the day, it was very cloudy. It was rainy. It was really sad because this one, was awesome in person. This one had all these mirrors all around, so you could kind of see it there with where it reflects the grass. But if it would have been a nice day, you would have seen the sky. It was beautiful in person. This one was actually from Mexico. The artist that won came from Mexico. This one was ultimately the winner that they selected. I wouldn't have selected this one, but Max Levy, I saw him today, and he said, initially we didn't think much of it, but then when we walked in and we saw, and it was magical. So I guess once you walk in, it was magical for him. It was kind of cool. It was, the breeze, and so what was really cool about this whole thing is that it brought people. The one over there, and the only Jewish guy that I know that entered, the Jewish architect. The other ones weren't Jewish, so they were actually just taking the program and making up what they thought would be a sukkah. And of course the people that live in sukkahs for 7 days, well, we eat there, we don't really live in it, but we were like, wow, is that really a sukkah? Is that considered one? But you know what? It wasn't about that. It was about the whole expression of temporary dwellings and making people aware of the holiday, and making people aware that there's homeless people. That was one of the things we wanted to have a takeaway, is that there are homeless people that are still living in temporary dwellings, and that even if what if they could have had a dwelling in design, right? So for example, there's one on the top that just basically took a whole bunch of chairs that different shapes and sizes, representing different people, and when they come together and become a structure, it's like together it can become a beautiful thing. And then different ideas about what a sukkah would be. So just keeping that. Thanks.